welcome to this special edition of Tech24, coming to you this week from a city that's vying with Paris and London to be the centre of entrepreneurial innovation in Europe. I'm talking about Berlin. It's playing host to not just one technology festival, but two, and we're here to see if it really is a mecca for startups. Networking with a view. This rooftop barbecue is part of Berlin's first ever Tech Open Air, a technology, art and music festival. Events are hosted by some of the German capital's top startups. For fledgling companies innovating in the digital space, making contacts is key. In Berlin, it's done over a beer and a bratwurst.
We have the place, so why not put everything together and bring startup-friendly people to join and just have a chat while they are barbecuing.
It's that community spirit the festival's tapping into. Tech Open Air wouldn't have been possible without the crowd, both as a source of ideas and cash. Organisers turned to French crowdfunding site KissKissBankBank. Collaboration is central to their vision.
Music, art and tech, these three disciplines attract a similar kind of person. The characteristics are pretty similar. Those are usually people that leave the safe harbor of a career, of a steady career in life, to sail out in the ocean and try to find self-actualization with what they're doing, taking a lot of risk along the way. And also technology as a second denominator is a shared thing in these three disciplines, and it's a driver for innovation in music, in art, and obviously in the internet.
Blending music and tech, SoundCloud is one of Berlin's most successful startups. It's a free platform that lets you record any kind of sound, upload and share it. 5 years in, and it's attracted 20 million users, proving a huge hit with musicians. SoundCloud's Swedish co-founders moved their project to Berlin in 2007.
The Berlin tech community and startup community is really young if you compare it to Silicon Valley or even New York. And I would say that Berlin in the past 5 years has really started to flourish and attract, because Berlin is such a fascinating city, it's a very international city, has really attracted people, attracted talent.
130 people of 26 different nationalities work here, technical expertise from around the world. That's helped foster the creative drive becoming a hallmark of Berlin tech. Several years ago, media reports were full of US business models adapted for the German market, made infamous by the controversial startup incubator Rocket Internet. Now innovative product-centric firms are getting exposure. Berlin Startup Academy offers training programs for potential entrepreneurs.
It has been a fabrication of the media that most of Berlin startups are about copying in the first place. The scene has always been like 80% or more about original ideas, about people who want to start something from scratch. It's just that there was so much money there to be invested in copycats, and not only German money, but also American or Russian investors are putting money in copycats because it's a more secure investment and outcome,
400 startups founded over 7 years, boosted by social openness, cheap prices and ready labour. Though Berlin's unemployment rate tops 13%, it also lacks developers. Finding funding is another challenge, as most seed money is still centred in the US. One firm that's managed to score some is IM. The one-year-old photography startup connects people through the photos they take.
IM is a photo sharing and discovery service, which means we have a bunch of apps for WinPhone, iPhone, Android, and we have a website where you can upload photos and share them with everyone, which is sort of the standard. So you can take a photo, you add some really beautiful, very fast filters to it. But what we do after that is that we sort of suggest where you're doing and what you're doing there. If you take it at a bar, it would be something like drinking at whatever bar, or dancing at a nightclub, or picnic in the park. We make these suggestions to make it easier and faster for people to give information about their photo before they upload it. And when that information is added, we can use that to discover and recommend relevant and similar photos that the people would be interested in.
It's a pretty crowded market out there, though. You've got Instagram, you've got Hipstagram, you've got lots of these photo apps. How are you guys different?
With us, the experience doesn't end when you upload a photo, but rather that's when it begins. So the moment you upload a photo, we start showing you stuff that's interesting and that's relevant for you, where you are and what you're interested in.
To see IM in action, we follow the team on a photography walk through the Berlin metro. The aim is to showcase the product and build a physical community around it.
I can post it basically on Twitter or Flickr, whatever social network I want to. And right after it, the cool thing happens. So we put the photo into context. So we actually discover that you're not the only one here at the moment who takes photos at this location. So we can show you all the people who are currently here as well. And also people at train stations all over the world. And that way you can actually dive into a community of photo takers all over the world and connect with them.
The image rights stay with the user. IM hopes its database will become a marketplace where anyone can sell their pictures. It's running other meetups from Melbourne to Kolkata, targeting power users and helping spread the word. Tempelhof Airport used to be the largest building in the world. It was also a symbol of freedom during the Berlin blockade at the end of the 1940s. Well, now, for this week, it's been taken over by geeks. Behind these containers are thousands of 24-hour campus party people. Under this former hangar roof, participants, or campuseros as they're known, are hanging out. For 6 days, they eat, drink and sleep, nerd, even camping on site. The theme of Germany's first campus party is rewriting Europe's source code. Armed with laptops, campuseros tackle hackathons, gaming tournaments and modding contests. Campus Party is much less about big high-tech brands showing off their new products and much more about an emphasis on doing it yourself. This particular project took over 200 hours to complete. It's an example of modding, modifying or pimping up your PC to make it look better, to turn it into a work of art. Believe it or not, this young lady contains a working motherboard. And if we go over here, we can see some flies that are made out of laser-cut steel, and inside, all the components of a fully functioning computer. Campus Party began in Spain 16 years ago. It's also massive in Latin America. Berlin's central location in Europe has made it an ideal host. There are some 450 speakers, including pioneers like Sir Tim Berners-Lee, inventor of the World Wide Web. In the 1970s, John Draper, aka Captain Crunch, belonged to a group of hackers called the Phone Freaks. They used technology to make free long-distance calls.
There's quite a bit of difference between hacking today and hacking from yesteryear. Yesteryear, it was more of a fun thing. Obviously, breaking into systems didn't really seem to be very fun as far as the authorities go. And then they started putting anti-hacker laws in effect in the mid-'80s.
Here's an area Captain Crunch would approve of. Robotics workshops get enthusiasts tinkering. Some are competitive, like an obstacle course for flying robots. Others have an educational purpose. When universities realized not enough computer science students could program, the Raspberry Pi was born. It's an ultra-cheap computer the size of a credit card. Daniel's with me. He's a student at Cambridge University. So Daniel, how is this device encouraging kids to get into programming?
So the idea is that we give them a very small, cheap computer, which they can own for themselves. You connect it to a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse and the internet, and then you can do all the normal computer tasks. You can browse the internet, you can do word processing, but in particular, we've made the programming tools more accessible, so we hope they'll be encouraged to learn to program because it's so accessible and so much fun.
You can also build robots with it, like the one I have here?
Yes, absolutely. We've developed a kit around the Raspberry Pi, and this allows you to drive a robot. So there are a number of sensors, a number of outputs, and we think it's really valuable for people to see some physical action as a result of their programs.
Amazingly, the Raspberry Pi only costs €30. These guys, however, are a little more high-spec. No campus party would be complete without a game of robot football. Good save. From what I've seen, the Berlin tech scene is edgy, it's grungy, it's cosmopolitan, and above all, it's taking off. So could the German capital really be the Silicon Valley of Europe? Well, I don't think it needs to be, given that it has a unique identity all of its own. That's it for this special edition of Tech 24, coming to you from Berlin. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.